So yeah, just really quickly, I'm Jordan McGowan. A lot of you guys know me or have seen me on Twitter, but I coach wide receivers at Sac City College. We go by the name City Core, right? Just trying to develop that identity of self, right? And so we, just trying to figure out who we are as a program and what we want to establish. I'm actually a DB by trade. That's what I played. And so I kind of bring a little bit different mentality to coaching receivers, right? And just the way we want to go about things is a little different. And so you'll see me. Wideouts want to eat. That's what we want to do, right? We want to make big plays, whether it's in the run game or pass game. I'm going to start off with some film from my group from 2008. Audio's so I'm gonna play it actually. Quarterbacks at Eastern Michigan now. He was an all-state player as a freshman. Actually got him in high school. I'm just helping you guys that are guys, right? They just gonna make plays. But it shows some of the things that we'll go over in today's talk, and so you'll be able to see, those in action. Cunningham, he's at the University of Arizona right now. He's an All-American. Track kid as well, super fast. Right. You definitely want our wide receivers to be able to be involved in all types of stuff, blocking, catching screens, like making big plays in the run game, return, punt return, right? We want to eat, whatever it is, play good if we hate to, right? So this group we had 3 all-conference, players. We were top 3 or 5 in every statistical category. And again, you see us blocking downfield, running. You can see all of the, all the receivers getting involved and fighting. Right? This is something that we place a huge priority on. And grab, fight for a bowl game. Feet on the sideline, and you're going to see that's kind of one of the drills we're working on. All right, want to eat. You see, I get in the screen. He's going to make a bonehead block because he's a freshman, but the effort is there, right? The mentality. Actually, put a receiver in the backfield, swung him out. Just getting behind guys. Again, Tavion is an absolute burner. Had a really good season at University of Arizona last year. Guys, blind spot, getting open. Again, guys just be guys, right? This one, a freshman from 2008, redshirt for us last year. He'll play this next year. You see all the receivers running downfield, right? That's a great picture for us. Soft tackles here. See us blocking downfield. I cut this a little short, but you can see guys, again, just continuously making plays, whether it's run after the catch, whether it's, getting behind people, boxing people out. And again, you'll see kind of the drills that we do. Give it a big game. And again, that's why we say wide receivers want to eat. Look, you see the receiver get involved. That's the other returner, right, coming and catching. So we just want to, we want to have fun out there. We want to party, right? We get our name in the paper. It's a pretty good policy. In the kid game. He's a Division II kid, great player. Actually helped me coach last year. I was finishing up classes. The kid game. Cunningham is absolutely a nightmare. I think they should get him running picks over at University of Arizona. I'm not big. I'm going over there, but this kid is phenomenal. I think he can do this on Sundays. And again, you see the off returner coming into the picture. late, right? And the guy off, blocking, just trying to make plays, right? That's what we're trying to do. Convert on third down, you know, again, trying to get as many space, catch the rock and be a playmaker. This kid was special. It was special. Something different. It was a little something different. So, my coaching philosophy: relationships plus trust equal confidence. Confidence plus opportunity is going to equal success for your guys. I want my guys to know that I love them outside of football. I text these guys. I'm a believer in Christ. I shared the word with them. I check on them outside of football. I have them over from my house, eat dinner. Even when my kids, play sports and things like that. I just want them to be able to see not just a football coach, but a man, right? Because that's ultimately what we're trying to do. I want dogs. Like, again, I think probably from being a DB, I just want guys that are hungry, that aren't afraid. I don't want that, the old school typical, like, oh, the receiver. I definitely want you to have, that superstar aspect. I heard someone say that they wanted to have divas in the room because that means they want the ball, right? I definitely want a guy that wants the ball, but I also want you to have a fierce desire to win in everything, right? Kobe Bryant is a huge, huge inspiration in my life. Got a Kobe tattoo, right? But like that desire to win in everything, right? Whether it's a race, whether it's who makes the best food, who can, drink the most water, who can do the most push-ups. I don't care what it is. Find a way to win. We want to be fundamentally sound with a great understanding of spacing and positioning. And again, from this for me comes back down to me playing DB, right? I used to do the film when I was a player. If I learned that, your split was this for that, this type of route, I would try to take advantage of that. And so I don't want our guys to, put themselves in that kind of situation. I demand and hold the players to be accountable, know their assignments and just the responsibility in the offense. If you have a more route and you got to clear space, we got to get out of there. You can't jog that, right? And they'll learn different techniques and coverages played by defensive backs. And again, that for me, it just helps them to understand where they're going, right? At the college level, they got to know when they got to sit it down and in the window or when they need to run away from me. Again, be sound, technically resilient with a desire to win every rep. You come in practice, I'm coaching, you're going to hear me yell, win, anytime that ball's in the air. Win, go win. Right? Winner, winner. I love to see guys win, right? We have to be physical. We have to be the aggressor, right? And you'll kind of see that in what we do. Successful traits, right? You got to be able to change direction, have good footwork, ball skills, blocking, and be coachable. Stance fundamentals. We kind of go over like a basketball defensive stance or like an infielder, right? We're going to get low and we're going to actually turn, pivot, and again, leverage. Stemming, whether it's in a block, whether it's in a route, we want to attack the DB and we want to try to get leverage on him so that we can win. Find the DB's blind spot, especially when we're running a route. Right? Be aggressive and physical and get the DB to stop his feet, whether we're going vertical or we're trying to block. If we need his feet to stop, we're probably going to be in a position to win. So specifically today, I'm going to talk about our drill work. This is kind of what our day looks like. These are our drill overviews, right? We starts, releases, blocking, top of the route catch, and I kind of tailor what we're doing based on the week that we're, in. Maybe last week we struggled with something, or we're going to see a lot of press man this week, so we're going to need to work a lot more releases. Maybe the game plan is going to call for us to do, some more, blocking with off DBs. Just depends on what we're needing at the time. But we start every day with starts though. And more than likely we're going to do at least one release a day. We were doing a lot of cut stuff, but they just changed the rules this year. And so we're not going to actually be able to cut as much, right? Or last year, I'm sorry. All right. So I actually cut the audio on the video because I did a clinic talk last week and they said the audio was hard to hear. So I just cut it. So we're going to start with what we call toe tap. so we're already in phase for this drill. In phase for us means that we were like running from break point to catch point, right? So we're already sprinting. It's pretty simple, right? We're gonna tap our toes on the sidelines. We're gonna try to make sure that we work this on both ways, going both ways. Please excuse my, my film cut up. We're in social distancing. I was supposed to be able to get this done in spring ball, but everyone knows we're not in spring ball right now. So we're doing this ourselves, right? But again, we really want to focus on being able to run to that sideline, right, and have control, whether we're tapping our feet. We just want to have multiple ways to catch a rock, right? So we work toe tap, work toe drag, okay? So it's just a progression, right? Again, we're in phase. We're trying to make sure that we, try to drag both. What you'll notice is on the second rep, okay, is I'm really gonna try to establish, right? I try to establish that foot if we can, right? Oh, kill myself. So as it comes back, you're gonna see I'm gonna try to get this foot down, right? So you're gonna see me, that right leg is gonna try to establish some stability. It allows me to drag that back foot, right? That's what I'm actually gonna talk through right here. Foot down, establish, right? And allow myself to drag. This is one for us that I think is really important. We call it box out. Again, we're already in phase, right? But when that ball's coming, we're actually gonna turn our shoulders, right? And kind of box out that DB. So this could be on a comeback, right? And then maybe that ball's on the outside shoulder and that DB's driving through. We wanna box him out, right? And then we get this on slant, we'll get this on curl, we'll get this on dig. So we wanna be really big and strong in catching this, right? Our shoulders square. And we're gonna actually focus on, trying to keep our feet in bounds in this, right? So, just a way to keep us even stronger, right? So again, our whole premise is we want to get our hips and our shoulders squared back and allow that and keep that DB away from us, catch the ball extended out. We go through rip and roll again. So we're in phase. And I got this from UC Davis, my year I was over there. So we're sprinting. We're going to have a partner in this. I'm going to actually use my son, my 11-year-old. We're going to attack the ball at its highest point, right? We're going to try to rip that ball away from the DB and then roll our body away so that our body is in between the DB and the ball, similar to a basketball player, Kobe Bryant, on the block, right? When he catches on the post, to keep that ball away and extended, right? Away from that defender, and so he can make his move, right? And in this case, our move is to secure the catch. So the ball's coming, catch, rip, and roll. I get my body in between him and the ball, right? Do it both ways, right? Do it again. You'll be able to see in the film cut-ups in the second one. We have some guys who are really good at this. We're gonna do catch through contact again. For us, this is an in-phase drill. In the film, you're gonna see me walk it because my son is throwing me the ball. And so, again, with social distancing, we're struggling a little bit with getting the film, but you're gonna be able to see, again, what we're doing. So we're moving, ball's catch, we're gonna tuck, right, ball away from that DB. We're gonna do it both ways, okay? So now he's underneath this, ball's coming, he strikes the inside arm, and we're tucking away from him, okay? And these are in phase, so usually these are full speed, right? I'm throwing it, right? And so, it gets pretty competitive. And again, I tell our guys, punch that ball out, right? This isn't a brother-in-law time. This isn't time to go easy because no DB is gonna, gently type at your arm, right? We're gonna, as a DB, I strike, right? I'm talking punch and rip, right? So we get pretty competitive in this, and obviously some guys play DB in high school, so they want to show off their skills too. And then we do overhead. You might have actually saw Coach Dante Ellington do this in Last Chance U, right? And we try to get a variety of different balls, right? Get some over the shoulder to the left or the right. Some maybe that he needs to turn back for. And again, some he might need to speed up for. So again, we're in phase already, just going vertical, right? And just attacking, right? Just attacking. Going and getting the ball wherever it's at. We do what we do call window catch. Usually we'll use a pop-ups right here, right? Instead of my upset kids that the dad made them get out there, right? He just wants to play basketball, right? He just wants to read Harry Potter. So they're not too happy. But again, we're already in phase. We're running from break point to catch point. We can do this in a variety of ways. We can come from the side, right? Like it's a dig. We can work it like curl, which you'll see in the video. So we do this a variety of different ways. Be violent, right? We're going to get through, catch, and then we're going to add that ball security element, right? As the defender stripe through. Again, you can use pop-ups or you can use players. Go on both sides. Again, boom, we're through. And usually, if I have defenders here, players here, they're going to actually be, a little more active with their hands. And then phone booth fight, it's literally the same thing, but we're going to line two guys up right here. I couldn't get this filmed. I just don't have enough bodies. I need one more sun, I guess. We're going to sprint through, and they're both going to they're going to do the exact same thing as the window catch, but now they're trying to box each other out. So we put a high emphasis again on competing in one and two on being able to catch with someone in your space, because again, we know that window to catch the ball in college football closes down, right? So I'm actually gonna take you to huddle for this. So we have some game film. So here's some bad examples first. I'm gonna give you some bad examples. Take so down here, this is tight end. I think he was number 3 junior college tight end in the nation. He ended up going to the University of Central Florida. He's a big time player, but he makes some mistakes here. Boom. So he never. We call it the box, right? He doesn't save his box, right? He washes himself out, and now he's not able to compete, right? So how we work rip and roll, he's not able to do that. Man, DB makes a play. Okay, so that's never good, right? And again, that's from us not attacking the ball, not saving our space, right? Not being physical. Same thing here. You come back. We never attack leverage, right? He's already outside. We never get him head up. We never threaten him. He does stop his feet for a second, but he's sitting on it. Never get our shoulder square. I'm actually going to show you this one from the end zone. You're going to be able to see his shoulders never get square in that box out drill that we work, right? So this was something that we talked about. So you see his shoulders never get square, and it gives that DB a lane to play, right? Gives that upset. Never gives a lane to play. Again, this is an all-conference kid, big-time player. He already had a touchdown in this game. He attempts to rip and roll, right? But he lets this ball get into his chest, which allows the DB to punch out, right? So we get a decent ball. We're in a winning position. But look, we allow it to come into our shoulder. DB punches, all out. This is a really good effort here by Jonas to stay in bounds, right? Just kind of loses track of where he's at a little bit. But you can see the effort, right? Throws a little wide. Here's an example of that slant with the box out, okay? So here's ball coming. We don't really box him out, right? Allow that DB to come under, make the play. All right, we don't like that. You'll be able to see it here. It's a pretty good ball. All right, we'll get that guy. Rip and roll situation. You don't rip and roll. You leave the ball in front of that DB. Just a really good punch. But again, I think we can fix that, right? If we rip this and roll away from it. Through contact, right? It's typically what you get. Corner making a good play, got to make that catch, right? That's how we work those drills. Here's your window. Here's your window sitting down, right? Window catch, boom. I can see the kid stay up, but right, shuffle away from trouble. You can see a rip and roll right here from kid, all conference player for us, Rob Harrison. Big time guy, get it, go up in the air and get it. So again, you can kind of see him already box out. He's actually a basketball player. So you kind of see him box out, right? So you go up and get it, catch, rip, and even through this, look, he's gonna roll his body away from that defender, right? It's a big time catch on 4th and forever to keep us alive in the game. Right. And again, it's just a mindset of what we're gonna do, right? Play breaks down, let it fly. So now we're gonna box this guy out. Boom, box him out, go be big and catch it, right? It's a big time play from a freshman. Big time play from a freshman. And Rob Harrison again. Heck of a player for us. And this is a better example on that slant, right? He's gonna box him out. You see him get his shoulder square, right, to that ball. So now DB doesn't have any room to poke through. No room to poke through.
Got a question here for you, Coach.
Yeah.
During camp, what are the drills that you work on the most? I understand from week to week you emphasize drills, but which ones do you work most in camp?
I would say most in camp, we're going to run through the whole catch circuit. We're going to run through the catch circuit probably almost every day, right? Because I have a little bit more time with them in camp. I'll probably pick a new release, once every 2 or 3 days, depending on how fast we're picking it up. We're working blocking every day, and we're working like these catch through contacts every day. Just because for us, it's we're at City, we're not a big time like vertical shot down the field kind of team. We're more in that intermediate. And so these guys have to be able to catch in space or catch with guys on them. And so that's kind of what we're focusing on in camp. That makes sense. Another play from Rob. You can actually see this. So he's actually held. So he makes the catch, and then look what he naturally does. He rolls away from that DB, right? So it's a little late, right? Just because it's some ball placement. He's taught. It's ingrained in his body, right? As soon as I get a chance, I'm gonna roll away and put my body in between the ball and this DB, right? And the catch, right? And he's still gonna roll it away. Right? Another example of it here on a slant, freshman. You can see him get his shoulder square early, right? Almost too early. He starts to almost shuffle in that window, right? You can see that. And that's the Division I corner right there. The kid ended up going, I think, to UConn. Right? He almost gets that out. Okay. The only reason he doesn't is because we get those shoulder square and we're able to protect that ball. See a few more times. Tight ends flexed out. You see him go shoulder square, right? Box out in the window catch, boom. Now we're getting hit. That's exactly what it looks like, right? Exactly what our window catch looks like. It's in the window. Right, secures it with the box out. Really good break from the DB catch. We're able to secure that because of the box out. There's a little bit of catch through contact. So very similar, right? He's making the same movement, strike, tuck away. All right, tuck away. So it's just, it's just a set of drills that we're just doing and hopefully, getting them to stick. All right, fighting through hands. Fighting through hands. This right here is a heck of a play up top. But then watch. He's in a roll, right? DB lands on top of him, but he's in a roll. He's going to pull that ball away from the DB. A chance to roll away just based on where the ball was and how it landed. He's attacking the ball in the air. This is going to be a great example of that sideline catch. Be able to see it here. So he's bringing out, right, toe tap. Just like we practice with a box hop.
Question for you, Coach. What is your coaching philosophy on teaching technique at the JC level with such a short window of time?
So when I came back to City, I actually started as a DB coach there, left, was a high school coach for a few years, was at Davis as off the field for a year, and then came back to City coaching receivers. I was a JC kid myself, so I don't believe that like I shouldn't be trying to teach them technique. I don't think that I should just let them freestyle. My goal is that when you think of the premier group of wide receivers at the junior college level in California, I want you to think of City core. And so that's my goal, and so our goal is to be technicians. Obviously, some guys have just gifts, right? And you get those at the JC level. And some guys are raw, but for the most part, right, these kids can grasp it. And I think that's another thing when we think too low of these kids, right, they're going to rise to whatever level we set for them, right? For me, I'm a teacher. And so, I also teach middle school. I expect kids to read a paragraph and answer that, they're going to do that. If I expect them to read 3 paragraphs, right, and I help them get there, then that's going to be our expectation. And I can do it through love. I can do it through all these different ways, but it's still a high standard that I have to hold them to. So, we work on our craft, continuously. We stay after practice, to make sure that we have stuff down. We get it early. And I have some good kids. I've had a good group of kids, who are committed to trying to be better. And so, they'll stay out. And again, you can see it in, the guys that we've turned out, whether it's Taylor Cunningham at University of Arizona, Jonas McGowan at Concordia St. Paul, or, any of the guys that are going to come through. We're hoping that, you see this type of leadership, this type of commitment to excellence, that Mamba mentality, right? Like, I just want to continue to be better and get great. So again, you see a box out on a slant, shoulders big. Second and 1. And there's that window catch, just from the dig here, right? And it's through contact, as you can see, DB on him, shoot the ball on the ground, right? It's a play. Box out, sideline example. Low ball, but same idea. We're boxing guys out. Any other questions on our if not, I'm going to take guys through blocking.
Yeah, we're good, Coach.
So blocking, again, for me, coming from the DB world, like, one, a lot of corners don't want to tackle. I was a rare guy that liked to tackle. And so I don't like softness, right? And I made a lot of tackles because receivers didn't want to block me, right? It wasn't like I was just this, destructive, corner who just knew how to just beat blocks consistently. Like most guys don't want to block. I know that dudes that did want to block me pissed me off, right? Like, damn, bro, why are you trying to come at me every play and come hard and get in my chest, right? It definitely would even it would challenge me, and some guys will fold, right? So I know that DBs hate getting touched, right? Especially because most of them aren't physical. So how do we do that? So for us, blocking is one of the most important aspects of our game because, honestly, even if you're the number one guy, right, you're going to get 12 catches a game, 15 at the most, okay? If your team is running 60, 70, 80 plays a game, you're still not touching the ball for majority of the game. So what are you doing, right? How are you going to, impact the game and make plays? How are you going to eat, right? And something that my really good friend Brendan Marion says all the time is how you play without the ball determines how much you love your teammates and how much you love the game, right? And so we've really taken that approach. So we call it a controlled surf, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute, but it's feet slightly staggered, right? And we're just going to keep our feet in the grass, right? And it's just going to be just like a defender, right? Closing that space in open field, right? Again, I was a corner, so I wasn't just going to run and just light nobody up unless they weren't looking at me, right? I only weighed 185 pounds when I played, right? 190 at the most. So I got to close that gap, and I got to attack somebody, right? And so we don't want to lean. We want to have a low center of gravity, and we want to have a controlled strike and drive, right? We want to have active feet, right? And we want to close that cushion. We don't want the DB to close the cushion. We want to close the cushion, right? Because if that DB closes the cushion, he's going to be too aggressive for us. He's going to be able to get into our chest. He's going to drive us back, right? He might make us whiff, right? Whiffs are terrible for us, right? And so we set weekly goals, and with our weekly goals, we always have a blocking goal, always. And the blocking goal doesn't mean that, you have to have a pancake or you have to have what we call a toss out the club, but a great block, right? It could be a seal. It could be something that springs a guy. You could drive a guy for, anytime you drive a guy for more than 5 yards, right? Those are looking at great blocks. And then, if we do have a pancake, we reward those guys with a little breakfast. So surfboards, usually we're going to have the same board that your O-lineman uses. Again, we're social distancing, so I had to use a ladder. But what you're going to see is, again, our feet are going to stay on the ground, and we're just going to attack. We're going to come through, feet slightly staggered, okay? And we're going to pause right in that position, right? So, again, we're going to come through 3 to 5 reps on each leg. You can see the slight stagger, and we're going to stay low, right? Once we go through surf, we're going to go to surf and mirror, right? So same thing. We're going to be in our stance. We're going to come out. We're going to surf through that ladder, and then we're going to mirror the DB as he just moves laterally, right? And we're going to close the space. He's not going to close this space on us. We're going to close that space on him. So we're here. Again, surf it through. And then we're going to continue. And obviously right now in the drill, right, we're overemphasizing it, but that's the point, right? Because obviously when we go game speed, things pick up. But if we can overemphasize trying to keep those feet staggered, taking those steps and closing that gap, we're going to do a much better job in game of being able to do that. So again, it's a progression. We're going to surf, right? Surf on the boards. We're going to surf and mirror. Now we're going to get to surf, mirror, and punch. Okay. We want to be balanced. And again, it's very similar to, a defensive closeout, right? It's similar to an open field tackle, right? And so actually something I was on the phone with Pat McCann over at Eastern yesterday, and he was telling me he did the same kind of thing, but he just started to utilize the defensive terminology. And so that's something I'm going to start taking. And so that way, when guys go over to special teams, they hear the same language, right? And it's the same thing over and over and over. So I really like that from the conversation I had with Pat yesterday, and something I'm going to be taking moving forward this year. So again, we go surf and mirror and punch, and then we get to surf, mirror, punch, and drive, right? And we want to drive our feet for 5, right? Drive for 5. So boom, we're surfing it through, mirror it, punch, and drive, okay? Let me give you game film on Huddle. It looks a little better on there. So boom, this should have been in pancake, right? So we get underneath his pad. I'm gonna take these annotations off. We get under his pads and we drive him, right? But we kind of get lazy, right? We get high right here. We don't really run our feet. We allow him to throw us off a little bit. But this is early in the game. This is play 1, right? So I mean, I'm sorry, this playlist play 1. I'm tripping. 2nd and 6, but it's early in the game. And so now he knows we're coming after him, right? DBs don't like that. He's trying to throw him off. So we actually have RPO in this up top. So you can see him. He runs it. But look, he's going to get right into it. Boom. So we like that. Right? And again, it's a mentality. It's a mentality. But that's what we're looking for. Right? So you can see it a little bit down here. Again, we're getting pressed, but you see him run his feet. He gets wide, right? Again, slot, gets into the bubble, gets there. That's a great block. That's a great fight. Look, running his feet. That's a little dude. Look how big that nickel is. It's a lot bigger than our slot defender, though, I'll tell you that. Get in your seat. Downfield, we're still just fighting. Close to a hold, but hey, they didn't call it. But it's a mentality for us, something that we want to consistently do. And I really like how he works to get his hips in front, right? He's going to work. You see him to get his hips in front right there. That's just enough. But for us, it's something that we stress. Right? Boom. Watch the hand on the back, but again, you can see he surfs into it. Boom. He attacks, punch. He's trying to drive, right? So this is one, again, right here in the slot. We're going to call this a great block. So he comes off, shoot, fires off the line, gets into him, driving him. Right? That's something that we like. This right here, that would be a minus for us, right? Don't like that effort. See, I like that. I like touching. Right? That dude doesn't want to get touched. Go touch him. Top right here is a great example. We got fast screen, then he gets right into it. Boom. You're getting touched every play. You hate that as a corner. Absolutely hate it. So again, we're going to call this another great block because he's going to drive him. Look, 8 yards. Right, that's the smallest receiver we got on the field. It is 5'8", 5'9". Boom. He's attacking though. Right? He gets the guys after, a whole game. So again, this is a good fight from both outside receivers. Boom, get a release, punch on him. Not willing to quit, right? You see DB's getting mad. Look at him. He's getting drove. He doesn't like that. What did you call it yesterday? You called it yesterday, Coach, bully ball. They don't like that, man.
Sure.
Nothing to deal with that. They don't want nothing to deal with that. And then we don't really teach like, hey, you need to seal this guy in or seal him out. We're trying to actually give our runner a two-way go. And again, this kid actually played running back, so he's pretty he actually had he had a hitch on for RPO, so that's why he starts to look back. He actually should have sank his hips a little bit more, but he sees the give, right? And now he just knows, okay, this guy wants to go out. I'm gonna just wash him out. Boom. He just washes him out, gives his running back a lane. And then getting up top, see another release. He's still on. Right, again, you can kind of see the surf right here from the slot. Surfs into it a little bit. Boom. Locked on, right?
Hey, Jordan.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. Let me ask you this. Let's say a defensive back is off on you. Let's say he's like cover 3, cover 4, right?
Yeah.
So he's off. He's not pressing, and he backs up on the snap, but then he stops because he's reading run and zone, and he's getting ready to take off. Obviously, let's say the ball's coming to you.
Okay.
So he's taking off back down. Do you teach? This is what everybody's always talked about. Do you keep attacking that defender vertically, doing your surf, or
I would like
stop and settle?
So
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So in 2018, what we did is if we had a DB that was just crashing like super fast, we'd cut him. That was our our changeup. If he wants to attack you that fast, invite him and cut him. We last year got hit with the rule that it got changed to you can't cut past 5 yards. So that kind of changed our game plan. And so for us, our hope is that we're going to try to continue, and that's a hard fight, right? But I'm trying to get our guys to continue to close that ground, because I feel like if we sit there and try to catch him, we're almost in a worse spot. And if we are going to catch, we're going to catch with active feet, and we're going to try to cut him off and just wash him, almost like if someone was going to try to take you on a drive from the top of the key to the rim, you're going to try to get hip to hip and just run him out. And that's kind of what we try to get to. We try to get to actually it goes back to my DB days, right? We're going to punch the hip and run. And we practice that as well. So like we'll come, that DB comes, we're going to actually, we physically are going to try to punch his hip and just run on his hip, kind of like a gunner.
Yeah, that's the big thing that, everybody always talks about, staying square, giving the running back a two-way go and all that kind of stuff. But the big debate over the years has been, do you attack the guy full speed, out of control, then all of a sudden the guy's coming down and you miss him because you're out of control.
Right.
And then the question was, do you come off aggressive and then slow down and then get ready to take a charge, two-way go? So I appreciate it. I was just interested in that, because playing a wide out and being a wide out, you're sitting out there like, why would I chase a guy that's coming down after me,
Yeah.
And why wouldn't I just secure him and take care of him? And then like what you're saying, let him take a side and then wash him, which obviously then eliminates the drive, right? So that drive is out of it until you square him up, correct?
Yeah, so I usually don't say drive. We usually say run for 5. And that way, so that if we get that where he comes crashing down and we punch the hip, it's still the same mentality. I'm going to run him for 5. I'm going to run him for 5 yards, whether it's inside or out. I'm just going to run him for 5 yards, because that's typically going to wash him out of the play.
One more question for you. I'm learning too, man. You're teaching me some stuff. So the next question is, okay, so let's say you square the DB up, right? You're doing your little surf. He's coming down after you. You basically took a charge. You squared him up. Let me ask you about that drive. Do you drive in that surf stance still, where you're kind of doing like how the offensive line coaches teach that zone blocking, where they're keeping their they're staying square. They're not lateral. Or they're not running in a running position driving. Do you teach that?
If we latch on and have good leverage, like if we're on chest plate, I want to run that dude to the water cooler. I want to punt. I want to try to push him down, or like I said, if we can run it, if we run a guy past 5, 6, 7 yards, we're going to count that as a great block. So our goal is to just drive him as far as we can. I know that there's definitely guys who want to keep that. I just feel like from playing, when I faced a receiver who was trying to keep that stance, he might be more balanced, but I'm also more apt to be able to get him off on that one side where he's staggered. Whereas if he's latched onto my breastplate and he's running me, you know, especially as a corner, I'm shit out of luck usually.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I saw your film too. You didn't tackle, but I'm just kidding. I appreciate it. I was just always curious about that because, again, playing the position, you were just kind of like, why am I chasing this dude around when he's got to come to the ball anyway, you know? Yeah. And so I do like what you're saying. I like that little surf technique. We do a little bit of it's kind of like, you know, you chatter a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you're attacking the defensive back, but you're staying square. And obviously, you know, we want to give that running back a two-way go. But I like, you know, obviously taking where you want to – obviously take him where he wants to go. You know, it's a little bit different at the pro level, and I'm sure you know this too, because the defensive backs are way more in tune in what what their responsibilities are. So they really have to maintain outside leverage of the defense. And so when we run bubbles and block for bubbles and outside runs and stuff, like people always say, hey, let's get to the sideline like they do in college. But in the pros, those nickels and those corners are like you know what I mean?
Elite.
They get taught to do a job and they live it.
Yeah,
so,
very elite.
It's a little bit harder in regards to that, in regards to running with the blocking. But I appreciate that. Can I ask you one more question about blocking?
Of course.
Let's say the run is going away from you, like an outside run going away from you, and you're the backside wide out or the backside slot. What do you teach there in regards to who to go get, effort-wise, and then when do you peel back and all that kind of stuff?
So typically in our offense,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I think this is important for everybody to learn because it's such an invaluable tool that nobody uses, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we get lazy on it. Especially the higher you get with athletes that become a little bit arrogant, egotistical about their stats and their play, and they don't want to get hurt blocking and all that stuff, where the accountability thing that you brought up in regards to that reward system, that accountability, we do fines. So, you know, that it's money up at this level, but what you're saying though, it's an accountability system, and those guys have to be accountable to each other because it helps you win football games. But what do you teach in regards to that run opposite away from? That should be my last question. I'm going to mute myself.
So typically we have some type of RPO attached, but as soon as they see balls handed, our slot is taught to attack either like that outside backer or that like first opposite color, or it could be a safety, right? But he's climbing second or third level. If it's that backside, like an X receiver, again, just depending on if we have a too high or a one high look. If he has a too high look, he'll probably shoot to that safety in the slot. If we have one, he'll go to that backer. If not, if I get a press guy, I'm going to tell him to steal or release and kind of see what he can do, and then kind of get into him. But we want like so I'll count up the guys. Hey, you touched him or didn't touch him, right? Did you touch a DB on this play? Because ultimately, my thing is it's almost also a mental game, right? Like if this DB knows that he's going to get touched every play, he has that in his head, right? And so now when play action comes, he's like, shh. If you stutter on that guy and he's like, shit, I'm going to get blocked. So now his mindset is a little different. And now we're able to try to win on play action. So we're always trying to touch a guy, Again, I don't care if you're this backside guy and we run stretch this way. If you drive this guy for 7-8 yards, I'm going to give you a great block. And so it kind of helps them incentivize that. And again, I've got backside pancakes. And then, like I said, I'll bring a kid, breakfast. And, at the junior college level, you bring a kid, one of those breakfast sandwiches in the morning, you're going to have his attention. So that's kind of what we're doing to just try to keep them accountable. So again, we got RPO right here. Boom, he's going to get right back into it. And for us right there, that's a great block, right? Because if he doesn't turn around and make this block, that corner makes a play. Because he's splitting 4 guys right here, right? That's easy. That's a play I used to make all the time, right? Because this dude is lazy, right? That's terrible technique from the DB. But that dude is lazy, right? He just didn't get his ball, so now I'm not gonna block and you make a tackle. right? But he doesn't. He drives him, 4 yards. He almost throws him out the club. A little bit of a hold there, but again, it's a mentality. You see, that dude's getting pissed off, right? So that's ultimately what we're trying to get. So this is kind of goes right to your question, Coach. So this slot is going to attack our guy. I like how he's closing it right here. He sees the attack. It's not a very successful cut, right? Because that guy still touches our ball handler, right? But we get a great block down low as well. So this is, again, both of these guys kind of get those crashing corners. You see him settle his feet. Okay, you want to go outside? Now I'm just going to wash you out. And he stays locked on. Right, 5 doesn't make the play. As much as he wants to, right? 5 gives up. He's going to give up right here. Look, oh, man, whatever. And the kid gets 2 more yards. So again here, another crashing corner. So you see Jonas, man, he was a phenomenal player for us, and he does a great job of understanding tempo and pace. So you see him attacking. I would like to see him attack a little flatter. We teach at the toes and then square this guy up. Right? He doesn't get as square as I would like, but he attacks his shoulder. He sees him change. Boom, and now we get to the first down. And again, look, Jonas stays locked on. He's driving him. I love that. I love that. That's the kind of effort that we're looking for. So again, RPO. Jonas steals a peek at the beginning. Okay. He should just be attacking. Boom. This is actually a whiff by Jonas. This is a great job from the slot. So he runs RPO. Again, this part is the mentality part, right? Nickel actually, this probably should have got thrown, right? Because the nickel comes now. Or guys actually aren't on the nickel. You can see it. Right? He's trying to make the play. Right? So this was a minus for our outside receiver, right? And it's because he stops his feet. Guy runs by him. Right? Now is it here? So then, I'm gonna be honest. So I probably ripped Jonas for that. So here comes the next play, right? Now look at that. Toss him out the club, man. Toss him out the club. You're the bouncer. Run that dude out of there. Okay? First off, great release. He gets underneath the guy, under his pads, and he's running him. And that kind of goes to your point right there, Coach Mike, right? So we're not staying in the shuffle. You'll see him here. He gets into him, boom, and he's just running him. We do a lot of sled work. Corner, boom, you seal it. 8 yards on first down. Can't beat that. This is going to go for 55 right here. A little gadget play. Block it up. Boom, boom. We actually have a guy. Forget he's not getting the ball. Right? But he's going to get involved. Looking up. You can see the surf really good here from Lee, 21. Surfing right here. Surf, boom. Attack, and then he's running his feet. Get out of there. To the crib. It's the party. You're going to see it from the slot. Surf. I don't like the head down. Good punch, though. We're going to run our feet. Right here, when he gets to swim, he should let go and then reattach. But again, it's a mentality for us. It's a fight. Right? We want to finish. Boom. We want to finish that guy. We want to physically, we want to physically let these guys know, right? This is what you're in for all day. Another great job. And And then as a high school head coach, I lived bread and butter on these right here, fast screens. We were just throwing these and just blocking it up. We'd rep this out for probably 10, 15 minutes a day when I was a high school head coach. And you can see the top comes in. Doesn't surf as much as I'd like, but boom, good strike. Dead feet, which is why we don't run him, right? But you can see the strike. And we really are working on strike and shoulder pads. You'll be able to see it here. Again, you're going to see it. We're in a triangle look, so heavy 2 tight ends. Was the H-back, but he's a tight end, really. We're going to attack this corner. Boom. Run him, run him, run him. Same thing. Surf, boom. Run him, run him, run him, run him, run him. Check out the club, brother. Check out the club. Run him, run him. Oh, yeah, you in the back of the end zone. You washed out the club. You're out. So that's kind of what we're doing. That's what we believe in right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what City Core is all about for us. Again, our biggest thing is wide receivers want to eat. And so how do you eat when maybe you're not throwing the ball every play? Or how do you eat when, again, the ball doesn't come to you, right? And for us, the way you eat is through blocking. The way you eat is through hustling down the field, getting involved, you know. And again, it can be in the passing game, right? If you go back to that beginning film, you know, guys are catching the ball and running, and we're running down the field trying to catch them. We're trying to make blocks down the field. And again, that's just the point that we're trying to emphasize. Just be involved and get involved in the party, right?
No, hey, Coach, you already know the blocking stuff gets me jacked up, man. So I love watching receivers get down there and block, and obviously talking about it is a lot of fun for me as well. So I was really appreciating that last part too. And I don't know about some of the coaches in here. I'm pretty sure they do, but some of the stuff that you talked about, I definitely want to incorporate myself. So once again, I appreciate you doing that. There was a question here before. Let me just find it. So basically the question was wanting to like train or get your athletes to play with like a more controlled aggression. You know, what would be your, I guess, recommendation or is there anything that you do to get your guys to kind of play with a more controlled aggression or kind of flip that switch, I guess, in a sense?
I think that's probably the hardest thing for me, man. I can't lie. Coming from like a DB background, right? Like I hated receivers, man. I hated them. You know. And it's funny too, because I always like used to compare receivers to basketball players. I used to hate basketball players, man. Like, you know, like just like a lot of the cats I dealt with, I'm like, man, these cats are soft. They're this, they're that, right? You know, a bunch of football players go play pickup game. You ain't never hearing no foul calls. Whatever. You know what I mean? But like, right. You know, if you're a hooper, you got me on the elbow. Like I didn't did that. But and I think that's just for me playing with my older cousins growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no babying allowed. Like I'm the youngest of the bunch. I'm getting shoved down. It's like, oh well, brother, like figure it out.
Right. And
that's how I just grew up. And I grew up a little, you know, tougher on some things, you know. And I only grew up with my dad, who was a Purple Heart Vietnam veteran. So you can imagine.
Oh yeah.
You can imagine. You can imagine there. You know what they say in a league of there ain't no crying in baseball. There wasn't no crying in life.
There you go.
Crying in life, but so for me it was just like a mentality of who I was, right? And so I can't give that to someone, right? But I can model it every day. And what I tried to do when I think when I first started, I tried to force it, right? Like when I first was a coach, I was coaching DBs at City. I tried to force it. Hey man, you're about to be this, you know. And I actually had a kid. He said, "Coach, we're not you." And I had to that moment for me was like, oh, okay, you're right. Like the things that I'm asking you to do, I can't just expect you to do it or know how to do it because I did it or knew how to do it. Or that's not the way, you know what I'm saying? That's not the way that it works, right? And so for me, when I became a high school head coach, it's kind of when it started to click. And that first year, I still struggled because I wanted to show everyone how smart I was, right? I could out-scheme. I out-schemed every team I played, but we were 4-6, right? Because the guys still didn't get it. So then the next year, I actually switched schools. I was down at Brookside Christian in Stockton. And what I did was I modeled everything, right? And I got a great group of men around, you know, that were part of my staff, and we all were involved, right? And we just made everything a competition, right? And we were in the weight room with these dudes. Coach shouldn't beat you, dog. And again, we're young, so I'm like, yeah, I'm like, they're like, Coach, I can't do that. I can't do that exercise. Yeah, you can. I can, right? And I just believed in them, and I just poured love and belief in them, right? Like if I go back to the beginning of the slide, right? I'm gonna go all the way back, right? And it's our philosophy: relationships press trust. Once those kids understood, like, okay, Coach cares about me as a man, right? He doesn't just care about me as a ball player. He's checking on my grades. He's checking on my family. He's coming to my basketball game. He's checking on baseball. He's, whatever. When they started to see those things, they started to believe, okay, Coach cares. And if Coach cares and Coach believes in me and Coach says I can do this, I have that. I can do that. And so I just instilled it, right? And again, you can kind of reinforce that with, some exterior motives, right? Again, a hungry JUCO kid get a breakfast sandwich like that, that'll do it, right? But that hunger, right? And telling them, it's kind of us against the world mentality sometimes, right? And so, but it's with love. Like, we're the best group of whiteouts in the state. I'll take y'all versus anybody, but you gotta work, right? And I think that was like the tipping point for me, right? And so in 2016, I'm a high school head coach. We win the section championship, right? We play for NorCal. We're in the state semifinal, right? We're in the regional final, and we lose to the state champs, right? And that group of kids really believed in themselves. They really believed in what we were doing. And I have great relationships with all those kids still. And then, we're able to take that and take it over to city, right? And again, that group of kids, especially at the JC level, people, they're like, oh, they're this, they're that. They see Last Chance U. They think they're all, a type of way. I was a JC kid. Most of my best friends were JC kids. So I can speak to their experience. I can speak to their worries, their troubles, hey, let's focus on class, right? Let's focus on these things that we have control of. Reaching out to their teachers, right? Holding them to a standard in the classroom, right? You got to be in the first 3 rows. You can't have, I'm going to check in on your teachers, And matter of fact, I even got in trouble, like teachers were like, this coach is seeking favorable treatment. I'm not seeking favorable treatment. I want you to let me know if he's messing up. I want him to sit in the front. I want him to meet you, that first week of class, right? And so I think when you start doing those things, those kids start to understand, right? And so now when you're asking them, when you're holding them accountable, they're starting to realize he's trying to make me a better man.
Right.
And I think that's ultimately the way that we're going to get better players, right? When we make better men, right? When we pay attention to those details, the way we do anything is the way we do everything, right? When we pay attention to those little details and we focus on those little details, those big things start to take care of themselves, right?
No doubt.
Focus on, if I focus on studying my playbook, I'm going to know the right route to run. I'm not going to question it. I'm going to be able to run it. And I'm going to be able to run it at full speed compared to I'm the fastest guy out here, but I still don't know what I'm running on this.
Right.
Right. And that's the same in the classroom. It's the same as a husband. It's the same as a father. It's the same, and no matter what you do, right? The way, if I want to be elite, if I want to be the best, and I want to be the best at everything, right? And we make a competition, just keep making it a competition, right? Like, I remember in high school, you know, me and my cousin, he didn't live with us, but he lived down the street, and he practically lived with us, right? And we have competitions about who make the best Kool-Aid. Bro, mine better. You know, just that hunger. I want to be better at everything.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think that's that dog, right? Like you can't explain it. And so that's how those kids, right? That's how those kids get to start doing things at a high level, right? And it doesn't matter if you're at the high level, if you're at a JC, at a 4-year in the NFL, right? If those guys want to be elite, and obviously as you get older, guys have more control over that, or they have their ego, or they have their whatever it is, right, that may get in the way. But again, those elite guys, those guys that everyone says, I want to be like him. Well, that dude's elite for a reason, right?
Right.
Everybody want to be Kobe Bryant until it's time to go in the gym. You know, like, don't nobody want to be in the gym that many hours, right? Like I said, my 7-year-old, he's in 1st grade. He plays 3rd, 4th grade competitive basketball. You know, he gets trained, the whole thing, right? And kid loves Steph Curry. Okay. So you're going to watch these Steph Curry videos and see how much this dude is in the gym. You're going to see how many hours, how many shots this dude puts up.
Right.
Right. Like he's in 1st grade. He can knock down the 3, right? And I want to shoot a 3. All right. So we're going to shoot 50 threes a day. And we're going to make 50 threes. I don't care how long it takes. You want to shoot, if this is the shot you want to shoot, okay. We're going to be out here and we're going to practice it and practice it and practice it. Oh, you're not strong enough? Okay, because now we're going to go do these push-ups. Now we're going to do these squats. For whatever you want to do, there's a way to get there, but you have to commit yourself to it, right? So how do you do that, right? And so I think that's just the whole process, right? How do you figure out how to be great, right? And it's a continuous struggle, right? And there's days when it's easy. I want to be great. And there's days you wake up and you're like, shucks, man, I don't want to be great today. But if you got to push through that, right? And I think that's the thing that when your kids start doing that, and again, they're only going to do what they see or what they're asked to do, right? So if you're asking them to be great, but you're lazy, they're going to be lazy.
That's a fact.
That's the thing. When I do exit meetings, I ask my guys, like, what's, one thing I can improve on and what's the best thing I did this year? Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, they say, Coach, I've never had a coach that'll demonstrate it for me. Who will do it slow and then do it as fast as you want it, right? And I think, part of it's because I'm young, right? Like I just have the ability to still like move around, but some of it is just mentality. Like I'm gonna grab my cleats and I'm gonna show you. I think that goes back to teachers teach, right? And ultimately as coaches, we're teachers. So absolutely. And that was the thing that took me a few years to realize, right? Like I'm talking, and I'm trying to tell you all this stuff, and because I know it. How do I get you to know it? Some guys I can just tell you, speed release them, get out of there. You too fast for them. Some guys don't get it. I got to show them, right? Some guys don't understand where that foot placement's got to be. They don't understand why they got to wipe. All right, and that's our biggest battle. When we get to releases, right? They want to do all the Instagram slide.
Yep.
I'm like, that is not gonna work, player. Coach, I seen it on. All right, line it up, bro. Right, and I'll line it up. Line it up. Come on. And they, pop, 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 pop. Coach, why you press me like that? Well, I told you it wasn't gonna work. I told you to do this, do the release the way I showed you. Mm-hmm. Hands down at your knees. You know what I mean? That's not gonna work. Or you think you're gonna hezzy this dude into this release? That doesn't work. Now there's a way to do it, right? There's definitely a way to do all these things, but you have to know when and where to use them. And so, but again, right, I could do that, and if I don't have the relationship with the kid and I just line it up, now you think, oh, coach an a-hole, right? Coach just out here talking mess to me. But if he knows, I'm like, look, this is the way you win, right? then it gets that, okay, he's caring. He wants me to get better, right? And again, I'm just an active person, man, right? Like in the Bay Area, we dance a little different. Like I'm always like trying to play with my guys. Like whether it's, routes on air, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to give them a corner look. I'm going to, if they're working comeback, I'm going to actually get with them and have them push me by.
Mm-hmm.
Have that corner perspective. So I can tell, I'll tell them like, that was terrible. And if it's a bad rep, I'll break on the ball. And they'll be like, coach. And I'm like, you didn't sell nobody. Right. And again, it just gets to that heart of who I am. I want to serve you. Right. And I think for me, some of it comes from who I believe in, right? Christ, right? My Savior, right? He came here to serve. So if I'm just coaching you and I'm not trying to serve you through it, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? What am I doing? I'm not really helping you. So I have to try to figure out a way to lift you up, right? And and some of that, and some of that again comes from me, as a young dude through social media. How do I do it? Well, I get a hashtag CityCore. I get a hashtag wideouts want to eat. And I see your film. You make a play. You tweet something out. I'm gonna retweet you. I'm gonna big you up. I'm gonna throw the hashtag in there. I'm gonna try to hype you up. I'm gonna try to. You're fortunate. I had a year before.
Because I think that connection is getting choppy. Yeah, I think his connection went out. Hopefully he comes back